Chapter 14. Rhu let out a long, shuddering breath and sat down. The doll nodded as it watched Vint leave. He pointed in her direction and gave a thumb down. "A bad person?" asked Rhu. "Well, maybe. She was okay once. I didn't realize she hated me so much." Rhu looked down at the small doll. "That was a stupid thing to do, Oni. I think she wants to kill me now. Like, actually kill me." Rhu knelt and held open his bag. "Quick, get in. We need to get out of here." He glanced around fearfully as Oni dived in. "She will never stop looking for me now." The small boy hefted the pack over his shoulder. Oni poked his head out. "Oh no you don't," said Rhu as he reached back and pushed the doll back down. "You stay out of sight for now. You've caused me enough trouble." He felt a grumpy kick in the small of his back. "As soon as I give this coin back, you and me are going to have a long talk about how things work around here, Oni," said Rhu. Rhu set off at a jog. "Trying to do the right thing will get you dead." The Merchant Square was only a block away, but Rhu found it a harrowing trip. For years Vint had been content to play a cat and mouse game with Rhu, harassing him, stalking him, and making his life miserable. Rhu had dutifully played his part, always running and hiding, appeasing her anger by curling up and taking his regular beatings. Today, reluctantly, he had fought back, and he had shamed her. She would not play the game with the mouse any more. Now she would go for the kill. She would be out there somewhere, already gathering up her gang, with orders to find him. Her network of contacts and spies was vast. Even now he could feel eyes upon him, tracking his movements. He shook his head as he lowered himself down a rusted drainpipe. He was being paranoid. Nobody would be looking for him yet. It would not take long though. Today would be a bad day. He would be lucky to see the end of it. He crossed the market square, his eyes darting left and right. A girl sat on a stack of crates. Had she glanced at him? He looked again. She seemed focused on eating her apple. Maybe too focused. Were they coming for him already? He had to escape. It was time to leave Yor if he wanted to survive. He would head north and make his way to Rulon, a city said to be 10 times larger than Yor. He could hide there. Surely they would need messengers. He had no idea how long it would take to get there. How would he survive? How would he eat? What if he could not find work? He needed money, and he needed it fast. He found his hand wrapped around the gold coin in his pocket. Suddenly he found himself in front of the distressed Tok. "Where you go, Rhu? You find the coin?" The boy's hand stayed in his pocket. A lie stuck in his throat. Rhu took a deep breath. He needed to survive. The merchant could always make more money. "I'm sorry, I saw a pickpocket running off with the coin," said Rhu, finding it easy to look miserable. "I couldn't catch him." Rhu felt a small, confused tapping coming from his backpack. He silently prayed the doll wouldn't do anything stupid, and that it would stay in the bag. The merchant turned away from the boy, wringing his hands. "No, no, this is very bad. Very bad. Puts many in danger." Other merchants gathered around, drawn to the agitated man. "Tok, what has happened?" "I have been robbed," said the tinker as he sat down heavily. "Rhu here saw a thief take away the gold coin." A tall merchant stepped forward, and he eyed Rhu suspiciously. "You sure the boy didn't take it? He runs with Vint's lot." Tok shook his head. "No, he gave chase, tried to stop them." He looked up at Rhu, gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you, Rhu, for trying." Rhu didn't think he could feel any lower. He was conscious of how still his backpack was, as if it was sitting stunned in confused silence. The tall merchant was unconvinced. "Even so, we should search him." Rhu's heart skipped a beat. Tok stood up angrily. "No! Leave the boy out! He no steals, no more! He runs the straight!" The tall man stepped back, his hands raised in surrender. Rhu was wrong. He could feel lower. "You will make the money back," the boy stammered. "You not understand. This not about money. Tok caught himself as he glanced at the merchants surrounding him. He pushed his way through them. "Must go! Must warn Gerald!" Rhu stood in dismay as he watched Tok hurry through the crowds. Some of the merchants still eyed him suspiciously. He felt Oni struggling in his backpack, trying to get out. Rhu needed to get away. He turned and sprinted for the rooftops. He ran until he was out of breath. When he was sure he was alone, he put the pack on the ground and released the flap. Oni burst out, his one eye full of anger and confusion. "Calm down, Oni," said the boy. "It's your fault we need this coin." Oni stopped short, his head tilted in confusion. Rhu held up the coin. "We need this to escape." Oni shook his head and again pointed to the square, this time more emphatically. Rhu squatted down in front of the doll. "Look, you saw how angry Vint was. We stole off her, and we kicked her doll down a cliff. We need to get out of here. And to do that, we need this," said the boy, waving the coin. The doll turned on him, crossing his arms angrily. Rhu looked to the sky in exasperation. "Oni, this is the only way." The boy tried a different tack. "Once we get to Rulorn, we get settled and we can pay him back." He poked the back of the doll playfully. "Maybe we win some whist fights." The doll turned and regarded Rhu with a scowl. Rhu felt heat raising in his ears. "Don't look at me like that. This is your fault, not mine." The boy shook his head and muttered darkly. "I knew I should never have taken you. You've ruined everything." Rhu saw the words cut through the doll. Oni shrank back, his one eye wide with hurt. He looked at the boy for a long moment. He then let out a slow sigh and sat, his head bowed. "Well, you have," said Rhu, his face flushed. The doll didn't move. Rhu watched the doll for a long time as his anger faded. He regretted his harsh words. "Oni." The doll stayed still. Rhu reached out and touched the doll tentatively. Oni tipped over onto his side, a small limp pile of sackcloth. "Oh, you've gone," said Rhu. "I didn't know you could do that." Rhu briefly considered using the board to try bring him back, but couldn't bear facing the doll. He gathered him up and held the slack doll in front of him. "I'll wake you up when we're far away from here," said Rhu. "It will be okay. You'll see." He gently put Oni into his backpack. Lost in melancholy thoughts, he realized too late that he had been surrounded. Vint and a dozen of her boys circled him, cutting off all avenues of escape. The end of chapter 14. And if you enjoyed that, feel free to leave me a like and subscribe if you want to hear more. Thanks again for sticking around. Catch you soon. Bye.